Caves hide more than darkness. They hold mysteries.
I saw something pass right in front of my face. I want to get out of here.
From perfectly preserved ancient bodies to whole groups that vanished without a trace, some caves are linked to real-life ghost stories.
The four of us were walking down the passage, and out of the shadows comes this presence.
In this video, we will uncover the creepiest cave cases and the strange evidence behind them. Stories that might make you think twice before spelunking. Number 11. Mammoth Cave. Echoes in the darkness. Mammoth Cave is the longest known cave system in the world, stretching for hundreds of miles beneath Kentucky. From the surface, it looks calm and harmless, but deep below the darkness hides stories that still send shivers down people's spines. For thousands of years, Native Americans traveled deep into the cave. They hunted, mined, and buried their dead there. Then, after centuries of use, they suddenly stopped. They abandoned the cave without explanation. No records tell us why. That unexplained ending is the first mystery of Mammoth Cave, and it feels eerie to imagine families leaving a place they had known for generations with no clear reason. In the 1840s, a man named Dr. John Croghan tried something unusual. He believed the cave's cool, steady air could cure tuberculosis. He built stone huts inside the dark tunnels and moved patients in. The idea failed. The patients grew sicker, and some died in the cold, underground shadows. The huts remain part of the cave's history and part of its legend. Today, visitors say they hear ghostly sounds near those old hospital rooms, coughing, soft crying, and the echo of footsteps that should not be there.
Mammoth Cave remains a place of mystery. In the past few centuries, there have been numerous deaths and disappearances, and many claims of paranormal activity.
Some guides and visitors say they have seen apparitions wandering the halls where the huts once stood. Over the years, Mammoth Cave has gathered more than 150 reported paranormal experiences, a number that places it high on lists of haunted natural sites.
In the deepest, uncharted parts of the cave, people have reported feeling like they were stalked and even touched by a menacing, shadowy figure.
One of the more disturbing stories involves a 19th century enslaved guide. Long ago, visitors claimed his remains were dug up and placed near the cave entrance for tourists to see. After that, people told tales of a fiery figure firing a gun that seemed to have no effect. According to the stories, the haunting stopped only after the remains were given a proper burial. Mammoth Cave blends real history with mysteries that cannot be explained. Ancient abandonments, a failed medical experiment, haunting sounds, and ghost stories come together in the cold, quiet darkness. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, walking into those tunnels feels like stepping into a place where the past still reaches out. Number 10. The Cave of Horror, a desert tragedy. The Cave of Horror, also known as the Cave of the Letters,
named after 40 skeletons, were found here 60 years ago,
sits high in the cliffs of Nahal Hever in the Judean desert of Israel. From the outside, it looks quiet and empty. Inside it holds a tragic past.
Archaeologists discovered fragments of 2,000-year-old biblical texts.
Long ago, during the Bar Kokhba revolt, Jewish families fled the Roman army. They climbed to the remote caves hoping to hide and survive. The Romans surrounded the area and cut off food. Men, women, and children were trapped in the dark. They slowly starved while the desert air remained still and cold. Centuries later, archaeologists opened the cave. What they found was heartbreaking. Bones lay where people had died. Alongside the remains were letters and sheets of papyrus, perfectly preserved by the dry desert. Some letters even bore the name of Shimon Bar Kokhba, the rebel leader. These fragile notes gave a human voice to the tragedy and offered a window into the last days of people who fought and suffered. Because of this grim history, the Cave of Horror feels like a place frozen in fear. Visitors say the silence is thick and the wind sounds like whispers. Old bones and ancient letters make it easy to imagine ghosts or spirits lingering in the dark. Many people leave with the feeling that they were being watched as if the past reached out from the shadows. This cave is not just an archaeological site, it is a reminder of loss, courage, and the desperate choices people make in wartime. The story of the Cave of Horror still chills anyone who hears it, proof that some places keep their memories for thousands of years. Number 9. Gough's Cave, Cavern of Echoes. Duck into hidden caverns where the air feels older than time. Step into an underground hall that once hosted the meetings of ancient elders. Look up and down as stalactites and stalagmites reach like frozen spires, carving strange, beautiful scenes that will leave you breathless. Deep beneath the rolling hills of Cheddar in Somerset, England, lies Gough's Cave. On the surface, it looks like a classic tourist spot with giant stalactites, underground pools, and winding passageways. But beneath that beauty lies a chilling past. Archaeologists digging there in the late 1800s and the early 1900s found something nobody expected. They uncovered human bones that are more than 14,700 years old.
We knew the skulls were from the late Ice Age, but recently it's the oldest dated example known in the world.
These were not just old bones. Close study showed clear signs of cutting and chopping. Some skulls had been turned into cups. The marks on the bones told a single shocking story. People were butchered, and in some cases, eaten. This is where the famous Cheddar Man was found, one of Britain's oldest nearly complete human skeletons. Scientists studied his bones and his DNA. The tests caused a stir because they suggested that some people living near Cheddar today might be his distant relatives. That link between the past and the present makes the cave feel very close and very strange. If you visit now, you walk through bright lights and listen to friendly audio guides. You see dramatic rock shapes and still water that mirrors the cave roof. But the guides also tell darker stories about the ancient people who lived, died, and were possibly killed there.
Oh wow.
The Cheddar Man.
And then there is a strange twist. Gough's Cave is the only place in the world where real cheddar cheese is naturally aged in the dark. Large blocks of cheese sit in the damp, cool shadows, maturing slowly for visitors to smell and sometimes taste. It is almost funny, or unsettling, to think that something so ordinary and delicious shares space with such grim history. Walking those paths, you feel two things at once. On one hand, you admire the cave's beauty, the dripping stalactites, the echoing chambers, the cool air. On the other, you imagine the ancient hands that left those bone markings. The cave becomes a bridge between wonder and horror. Number 8. The Cave of the Sibyl. The Cave of the Sibyl sits near Cumae in Italy. It is a long trapezoid tunnel about 130 meters deep. From the outside, it looks like an ordinary stone passage, but its story has given it a dark and eerie reputation. Long ago, people believed this cave was an entrance to the underworld. They said a strange priestess lived there, the Sibyl. Sibyl could speak of the future. People came to her for prophecies, but her gift came with a terrible cost. According to ancient Roman stories, the god Apollo granted the Sibyl eternal life. She would never die. She did not ask for eternal youth, however, and so she kept growing older and older. The idea of endless aging without release frightened people then, and still chills us now. Writers such as Virgil describe the cave as a haunting place full of hidden doors. The Aeneid tells of a maze of entrances where the living might meet the dead. Folk tales added a darker twist. They claimed that if Sibyl led you into the cave, you were already dead the moment you walked in. People also said that Sibyl wrote her prophecies on leaves. The wind scattered those leaves through the cave, leaving fragments of jumbled, spooky messages. Aeneas, the hero in Virgil's poem, had to piece those loose words together to learn his fate. The image of words blown and lost in the dark adds to the cave's mystery. Modern researchers offer a different, but no less eerie explanation. The cave sits near volcanic vents. Fumes and strange winds move through the tunnels. In the dark, these smells and gases could cause dizziness, fainting, or trance-like states. For ancient visitors, these effects looked like visions or messages from beyond. In that way, the cave's natural features helped build its supernatural reputation. In the 1960s, an amateur archaeologist named Robert Paget explored the underground tunnels. He proposed a bold idea. The volcanic landscape around Cumai might have been used on purpose. Paget thought people could have staged a ritual descent, creating a man-made version of the Greek underworld for cult initiations. If true, it means the cave's mysteries were part natural and part carefully staged performance. Today, the Antro della Sibylla still draws curious visitors. They go to stand where ancient Romans stood and wonder if the Sibyl's voice could ever be heard again. Whether its fearsome stories come from myth, from gas-induced visions, or from human design, the cave keeps its power. Number 7. The Kabayan Mummy Caves. High in the mountains of Benguet in the Philippines, hidden among pine forests, are a series of small burial caves. For centuries, the Ibaloi people practiced an intense and unusual ritual there. The result is what the world now calls the fire mummies. These bodies do not decay like normal corpses. They are dried, dark, and tattooed. Many are folded into a fetal position and placed in pine coffins. At first, it sounds impossible, but the preservation is real. The mummies look almost like people who are asleep. The process that produced them is as chilling as the result. Before death, elders were given increasingly salty food and drink. This drew water out of their bodies. After death, the body was washed and rubbed with herbal mixtures. The Ibaloi placed the corpse over a slow, smoldering fire for weeks and sometimes months. They even blew tobacco smoke into the mouth to dry the internal organs. The long, careful smoking and drying cured the body naturally. The result was a perfectly preserved, tattooed figure that seemed frozen in time. There used to be many such caves. Today, only about 50 to 80 burial caves remain. Places like Timbak, Bangao, and Optas are well known, but their exact locations are closely guarded. Grave robbers and vandals destroyed many sites during the 20th century. After that damage, the government moved to seal and protect the remaining caves. The Ibaloi no longer create new mummies, but they still regard the Kabayan Caves as sacred. The community performs rituals there and cares for the memory of their ancestors. In a recent respectful act, the National Museum returned a looted tattooed chieftain's mummy to the community. The Ibaloi reburied him with traditional rites. That moment showed how living culture and modern law can come together. Today, the Kabayan Caves are also a potential attraction for tourism. Officials and the Ibaloi face a difficult choice: open the area to visitors so people can learn and earn from it, while keeping the caves safe and sacred. The story of the Kabayan mummies is both haunting and human, a reminder that customs, respect, and memory can survive through time. Number 6. The Bell Witch Cave of Tennessee. On a quiet farm about 30 minutes from Clarksville, Tennessee, a dark story has lingered for more than 200 years. This is the Bell family farm, the site people now call the Bell Witch Cave. From 1817 to 1821, the Bell family reported that an invisible presence moved into their land. At first, it made noises, taps on walls, and strange knocks. Then it grew bolder. Objects fell from shelves. Animals were chased. The family heard whispering voices in empty rooms. The spirit seemed to focus on the youngest daughter, Betsy Bell. She was teased, pinched, and shoved. The family tried to speak with it. The spirit answered, using rude words and threats. It told Betsy it would kill her father, John Bell. In 1820, John Bell fell ill after finding a small bottle with a mysterious liquid. He drank it and soon died. Many people at the time claimed the Bell Witch caused his death. It is one of the few ghost stories in America connected to an actual recorded death. Word of the haunting spread quickly. Some visitors tried to help. Local leaders and curious travelers came to see. One famous visitor said to have come was General Andrew Jackson, who later became President of the United States. The story says Jackson left the farm frightened. His wagon wheels stopped, and his men felt unseen hands pinch them. The Bell Witch Cave sits on the old farm, where the spirit supposedly lived underground. Locals warn visitors not to take anything from the cave. For years, people have said that anyone who steals a rock or a relic will suffer terrible luck. Some call it a curse. Today, ghost hunters and tourists still come. They report cold spots, whispers from empty tunnels, and electronics that stop working for no reason. Some leave flowers and notes at the cave entrance. Others insist they felt watched. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the Bell Witch story remains one of America's most famous and chilling legends. It asks a simple question: what really hides in the dark places of old farms and deep caves? If you visit, remember this. Many say the Bell Witch never truly left, and some say she still wants what belongs to her. Number 5. Cave of the Winds that keep its secret. The Cave of the Winds Mountain Park in Manitou Springs, Colorado, has captured the town's imagination for more than a century. The story begins in 1880, when 2 local teenagers, George and John Pickett, walked near the canyon and heard strange sounds coming from the ground. Low moans, eerie whistles, and howls that seemed to come from nowhere. Curious and brave, the brothers crawled into a dark opening. They carried candles to light the way. As they moved deeper, wind rushed through narrow passages, and a blast of air blew their candles out. The boys ran back screaming, certain something beyond the light had pushed them out. After that night, people began to whisper that the cave was haunted. Long before the Pickett brothers, the Jicarilla Apache told stories about a sacred cave where the great spirit of the wind lived. Those stories added a feeling of mystery and fear to every new report. Later explorers discovered that the noises came from wind moving through hidden sinkholes in the canyon above. But knowing the cause did not stop the fear. If anything, it made the place feel older and more powerful. Today, the cave still draws visitors who want to feel that chill. Lantern tours guide people through narrow, shadowed passages. On those tours, some visitors and guides say they have seen or felt things they cannot explain. Whether the sounds are only wind or something more, the Cave of the Winds keeps its secrets well. It is a place where history, legend, and the unknown meet, and where one cold gust is enough to make anyone wonder what hides in the dark. Number 4. The Killing Caves of Phnom. Sampeau, the Killing Caves of Phnom. Sampeau sit on a quiet hill near Battambang, Cambodia. From a distance, the place looks peaceful. Birds sing, monks walk the paths. But the hill hides a terrible past. In 1975, the Khmer Rouge took power in Cambodia. Over the next 4 years, they killed hundreds of thousands of people. Phnom Sampeau became one of their execution sites. Soldiers dragged teachers, doctors, and whole families up the mountain. Many people were beaten and thrown through a natural hole in the cave roof. They fell into a dark chamber below. The soldiers did this to save bullets. Today, the cave is a memorial. When you step inside, you see the evidence of that horror. A chicken wire cage holds bones. Glass boxes display skulls and fragments of skeletons. The sight is shocking and sad. You can feel the weight of what happened there. But the site also shows a different side of human hope. A large golden reclining Buddha sits inside the cave. Locals come to pray and light candles. They sing and leave flowers. The Buddha and the prayers turn part of the place into a quiet space for remembering and healing. Nearby, on the same hill, there is another cave famous for bats. At dusk, millions of bats stream out in a thick, twisting cloud. People stand below and watch in silence. The bat flight is both beautiful and eerie, life continuing above a place marked by death. Phnom Sampeau is not a spooky tale made up for scares. Its creepiness comes from real tragedy. The bones, the memorials, and the stories of those lost make the place heavy with history. Yet between the sorrow and the strange beauty, the site also offers a reminder. People remember, mourn, and try to heal. Number 3. Hellfire Caves, Secrets Beneath West Wycombe. The Hellfire Caves in West Wycombe are among England's most chilling places. Carved out of chalk in the 18th century, they were not built for miners. These tunnels were created for a secret life beneath the hill, a private world for the rich and powerful. At the heart of that world was the Hellfire Club, a real secret society founded by Sir Francis Dashwood. Members dressed like monks and slipped down into the caves to drink, party, and do things people whispered about for generations. Some claimed they held pagan or even satanic rituals. Others said it was all just wild, expensive fun. Whatever the truth, the stories only grew more disturbing with time. One strange fact: before he died, the club's steward supposedly burned all the records of what happened there. That left a dangerous blank, a space where rumor and fear could fill the gaps. Today, visitors say that the blank never really stayed empty. People report ghostly sightings, especially of the steward himself, wandering the tunnels as if he is still searching for something he lost: his heart. Local legend says the heart was stolen from an urn in the nearby mausoleum, and the steward's spirit never forgave that theft. Another tale that will not leave the caves alone is the story of Suki. She was a local barmaid in the 18th century. Boys tricked her into coming to the caves by pretending to be an aristocrat who wanted to marry her. When she realized she had been lied to, she screamed and threw rocks. One rock struck her head and killed her. People say Suki now walks the passageways in a white wedding dress, forever trapped between a joke and a funeral. Visitors have felt cold spots and heard a woman crying softly, and many point to Suki as the cause. The caves themselves only add to the terror. The passages run far underground. The deepest parts stretch more than a quarter of a mile beneath the surface. Inside, you cross a black, still stream the club members nicknamed the River Styx. The air is heavy, the walls drip with damp chalk, and carved faces stare from the stone. It is easy to imagine the tunnels holding secrets that keep breathing even after all these years. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the Hellfire Caves hold a raw, unsettling mood. Rich history, ruined reputations, burned papers, lost hearts, and the story of a betrayed young woman, all of it makes these tunnels feel like a place where the past refuses to stay buried. Number 2. The Boesmansgat Cave, Diver's Nightmare. Boesmansgat, also called Bushman's Hole, sits in South Africa's northern cape. On the surface, it looks like a quiet sinkhole, but beneath the water lies one of the deepest, most dangerous caves on Earth. This sinkhole drops nearly 270 meters, more than 900 feet. Cold, dark water fills the shaft. The deeper you go, the harsher the conditions become. Strong currents, crushing pressure, and total silence wait below. People call Boesmansgat a diver's nightmare. It is also a graveyard. The cave has a tragic history of divers who never came back. In 1994, a young diver named Dion Dreyer went down. He was only 20 years old. 50 meters below the surface, he drowned. His body remained there, preserved in the cold, still water. Years later, in 2004, a well-known cave diver named David Shaw arrived. Shaw was known for going as deep as few would dare. He found Dion's body at the bottom of the abyss. It was oddly intact, like a frozen moment in time. Shaw promised Dion's parents he would bring him home. In January 2005, Shaw returned. He planned a recovery dive that many warned was nearly impossible. The depth alone made the dive deadly. Heavy currents and the risk of equipment entanglement increased the danger. Shaw wore a helmet camera. He wanted to record the entire operation. At first, the footage showed a calm, methodical descent, a man moving with purpose into the silent dark. Then things turned. On screen, the struggle began. Equipment snagged. Time slipped away. The footage captured Shaw fighting in the crushing depths. He tried to free himself. He tried to breathe. The camera kept filming. He did not make it back. When rescuers later descended, they found a scene that felt like a nightmare made real. The bodies of David Shaw and Dion Dreyer lay side by side on the cave floor. Two lives joined in the deep, where the world above seemed impossibly far away. The recovered camera footage showed Shaw's last minutes. It made the tragedy painfully real for everyone who saw it. To many, it proved how merciless Boesmansgat can be. Today, the story of Boesmansgat is told as a warning. It is a place of beauty, mystery, and danger. It reminds us that some depths are too deep for even the bravest to conquer. Number 1. Krubera Cave. The bottomless dark. Deep beneath the earth lies a place that feels like the edge of the world. Picture a pit so deep it seems bottomless, and a cold, black tunnel that swallows all light. This is Krubera Cave. Krubera is in Abkhazia, Georgia, and explorers say it is one of the deepest caves on the planet. The longest expedition into the cave lasted about 4 weeks. That team reached 6,600 feet below the surface. Even after all that time and danger, the cave still keeps its secrets. Large sections remain unexplored. If a cavern that deep does not give you chills, consider what lives inside. In the deepest zones scientists have reached, they found strange insects, spiders, and tiny arthropods. These creatures are unique. They live only in this cave system and nowhere else on Earth. And here is the worst part. Explorers have not yet reached the bottom. We do not know what else might be hiding farther down. The idea of unknown life in endless darkness is enough to make the skin crawl.